everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm excited to be joined today by Jenny Malafarina, CEO of Virago Marketing, and Bill Thayer, CEO of Fillogic. Bill is Jenny's client at Virago Marketing, and they've been working together for a little over 2 years. And I've also partnered with Virago in a number of ways, and I'm looking forward to great things ahead. How are you guys doing today?
Good. I don't have any snow here like you guys. So
Yeah.
Great to be here, Andy. Just, I think the key thing that's really important is FLogic works for Verago. At least when it comes to marketing stuff. We have a teachable moment. We love Jenny and her team.
Awesome. Awesome. We do as well. We did a press release recently with them, and that's led to some really neat things. So super excited to have both of you on the show today to talk about some things. I'd like to give a special shout out to our sponsor, Virago Marketing. If you're looking for a marketing agency who understands transportation and logistics, really important, and can help you better understand your audience, help you build a more impactful go-to-market strategy to increase demand, drive leads, and ultimately return on investment, please check out Virago Marketing. They are in the business of creating content that compels conversations and delivers tangible results. So today, we're going to be talking about delivering the right message to the right people at the right time. Very important. And Jenny, to start, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Virago Marketing?
yeah, so Virago Marketing is a marketing agency that solely serves in the transportation and logistics space, mainly technology, but we've also partnered with companies who don't offer technology. We find that most companies have technology today, so it's hard to find a company that does not. We go to the shows. The team is made of industry experts. We've got Erin Huff, who wrote for CCJ for 21 years, outstanding chief content strategist. Lee Sauter comes from the 3PL side, and she really knows the 3PL and shipper space. And then we've got Melanie Clegg, who I worked with at Banyan Technology, and she's a really great short writer, account manager, get stuff done kind of person. Bill can vouch for that one. If anybody's, making FLogic work, it's her. So that's our team. Again, industry experts, solely serving this space, really focused on delivering tangible results.
Right, absolutely. And Jenny and I worked at Trimble
Yeah.
as well. And I've gone back to with Erin Huff. We've done articles and content together going back like 18 years. So I've known Aaron for a long time. He actually introduced me, well, to him being at Virago now. And so we started doing some things together.
That's how we connected. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Bill, to give a little context, how did you get involved with Virago? Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with Fillogic? Where the idea came from? How did you build it, and where are you taking it?
Sure. So FLogic, put simply, is we're a leading platform for local market logistics. But what FLogic does is we take underutilized spaces in retail centers, primarily shopping malls, and provide the technology and the operations to help those buildings operate more as an ecosystem. So we are firmly focused in the middle mile, and we're providing not just mall-based retailers, but digitally native brands, the ability to use that ecosystem. For us, the future is local. The future is sustainable. It's about efficiencies. It's about using existing infrastructure. So that spiel that I just gave you and that pitch has been honed over the last 5 years. Started the business in 2018, started doing revenue in 2020, and we've been growing like a weed. But I think over the last 2 years, what's been really interesting is our partnership with Verago, because myself personally, I spent 35 years in traditional retail, working in companies like Macy's, Century 21 stores, Loehmann's, a bunch of other players as well, and understanding the shipper side of things and understanding what shippers need, where it's different as sort of a solution provider, specifically somebody that is doing something a little bit strange. Shopping malls, who would want to use a shopping mall? Well, guess what? 75% of sales is still done from a physical location, and shopping malls are located succinctly and right in that middle mile. So Jenny and the Virago team has been very, very helpful on helping us craft our message, decks, subject matter expertise, pitches, connecting us with other players in the market. So I think what they've done is they've taken our unpolished rock and put a little bit of a sheen on it, because what we do is a little strange, a little weird, and I think weird is good because the supply chain historically is so completely destroyed, realistically coming out of COVID. One of the things that I think there's always been a talk in the supply chain space is omni-channel retail. Omni-channel retail is dead. It's bad infrastructure built on top of bad infrastructure. We're big believers in what we call channel-free logistics. Customers don't think in channels, so why should we do that logistically? So that message, that ethos, and sort of what we do as a business has been honed by the FLogic team, but with very specific help and guidance and direction from Jenny and their team as well.
Very cool. It's a neat concept, very different, and I love the sustainability aspect of it as well. Utilizing resources better. We're going to be talking to that as
It's
well.
not a concept anymore, Andy. It's a thing. It's a real thing.
It for sure is. Absolutely. We're living it, seeing it, and hearing it from customers every single day. So you target shippers, mainly retailers, right? And that's a harder audience to reach, right? What tools have helped you most accomplish getting your message out there?
Well, I think number one is LinkedIn has been great. Press releases, as far as any sort of white papers and communications that we're talking about, the things that we do, whether it is our proprietary reverse logistics platform, our aggregated, last mile aggregator. There's a bunch of different things that we are doing, but so much of it is it's the message of the benefits and what we can do, because most logistics people are all about details. I'm a nuts and bolts person, and that bores most people. And so the idea of getting somebody to help us punch it up to say, hey, these are the things that you're focused on: efficiency, cost savings, sustainability, circularity. That's a big piece of what Virago's helped us with.
Right, absolutely. Hit them with the benefits and value. I'm
Correct.
a big proponent of that. And so what are some of your, social proof points for sustainability?
Well, I think the number one thing is when you look at, for example, reverse logistics. Reverse logistics is something that everyone has to do, but they don't want to do it. And in many cases, for retailers, 3PLs, who name it, it's become a major drain on margins and expenses. But one of the things that we've developed is, in the middle mile, the ability to do returns, grading, and disposition closer to the point of where the customer drops it off. And when you're able to do that, you save 50 to 70% of the costs, improve full price selling by about 180%, and completely remove return fraud. Normally, what we're seeing is the metrics of fraud for returns around 14%. Our customers that are using our platform, less than 1%. So that in and of itself is good business, but less touches, less movement, less trash means, from a circularity perspective, all of that less of has a major sustainability impact. Getting inventory, not just moving into a dark store in a distribution center, giving the retailer the ability to say, where do I want it to go? Do I want it to go back to my stores? Do I want it to go back on digital? And then the issue is, it's not just for returns. It's also the ability to say, hey, I have inventory that's, let's say, previously or slightly damaged, making that available for e-commerce. Then also the ability to say, hey, I now have the channel and the ability to support sustainable liquidation of damaged product. So that is a complete solution that FLogic offers. And once again, back to Verago, they've been helping us hone that message and how we communicate that through social posts, through press releases, through conferences, and basically telling me to wrap it up and talk about the key things that are benefits, which I did.
Right. That, Jenny, is a godsend for marketing,
Yeah.
Having that data and social proof, and to not only talk about it, but data you can stand behind and things that you can go to market with benefits and value. I just think it's so important. So what did you do with all of that information with FLogic?
Yeah, so I think it started with them kind of proving those points. So they did a report with Closed Loop that gave them really concrete statistics that we were able to turn into a press release. So we did a couple co-marketing initiatives with some of their partners in reverse logistics and sustainability to extend our reach and our impact to their audiences. We also took those points and put them front and center on their new websites, throughout the website, blogs, social media. It was implemented into the sales deck and board decks. We applied for the FreightTech 100 and took home, what was it, Bill? Number three?
Number three.
Number three.
Very nice.
Yeah, very good. And we also recently applied for a Green Transportation Award. So we've got our fingers crossed on that one. And then we use that insight everywhere to really speak to FLogic's audience and requirement to have a focus on sustainability. So, future partners that they're looking at and things like that, I think the product becomes the message and the message becomes the product. So they developed a solution that has these key components around circularity and sustainability and reverse logistics. And now as we put that into the market, we communicate all the value that they've created. But now for the market, we start honing in on the product by looking for partners who help extend that message and extend that, I guess, goodwill, in the sense that, like, who'd you just partner with, Bill? You've got some reusable packaging.
Returnity and Renegade Plastics. So Returnity does reusable containers, but we got together, once again, closed loop, as Jenny mentioned, they're one of our investors, circularity and sustainability investors. And so they helped us say, hey, I think there's an opportunity here for recyclable containers. So with Returnity and then Renegade Plastics, Renegade came up with a recyclable container that it's 100% recyclable. So I think the idea is being able to do movement between facilities, stock balancing, you name it, is, being able to say, and this is one of the things when you think about circular and sustainability, a lot of retailers and logistics folks do that as an additional item. We lead with sustainability from upfront to say how, sustainability, if done right, is good business. So let's focus on that. And as we focused on that, everything that we've built from a technology perspective, from operational, looks from circular and sustainability on up, or what we call ops up. It's not built by a bunch of technologists that say, hey, wouldn't this be a great idea? It is built with operators saying, hey, you know what? This is not only a great idea, this is good business. It really saves money, it saves time, you name it. Let's deploy that. So it's just a little bit of a different direction on it, which is good.
Right, absolutely. So ESG, as I'm sure you both know, stands for environmental, social, and governance, right? That's a really big message in the media right now, especially for shippers. And Bill, how is the messaging being received by your target market? Is it opening doors? Is it opening opportunities for you?
We don't look at it. ESG is a very broad-based, very, very large topic. We stick with the sustainability and circularity because everybody should run their businesses with an idea from ESG. But from our perspective, one of the main things that we're focusing on is the circularity and sustainability, because once again, that's good business. And so when we talk to retailers, retailers have ESG mandates, but from our perspective, let us focus on the things that will dramatically impact the sustainability and circularity portions, which is a subset of the ESG mandates. Most retailers have a very difficult time trying to prove that. Those are more edicts from the top down. Our whole point is we're providing you something that's from a business perspective, from the bottoms up. That's a better way to look at it. By using us, saving time, money, by using our ecosystem, you're also getting the benefit of the circularity and sustainability. So we look at it a little bit differently, but at the same time gets the same result.
Right, absolutely. And I understand that you guys at Fillogic have coined this phrase, channel-free logistics.
Exactly.
What does that mean, and how does it tie into sustainability?
Sure. I mean, as I mentioned before, the overarching theme today in logistics and in retail is omnichannel. Omnichannel, retail, and omnichannel denotes channels, which denotes walls, which denotes divisions, which denotes friction. Anytime that you place a wall between, let's say, your digital, your physical, your dropship, your wholesale, once you have those walls built up between channels, there's technology, there's costs, there's people, there's lots of different things that happen between them. And so, from my time in retail, we started this business to say, hey, physical retail does a terrible job of servicing their physical store locations. And logistically, basically putting a WMS in a store, WMSs, don't handle things called people very well. Our whole point is let's deploy technology and operations to make that ecosystem work better. And so because of that, customers don't think about omni-channel. You know, when you talk to somebody, anybody who's a civilian, shall we say, hey, where'd you buy that? Did you buy that online or in the store? They may not care that much, but what they do care is price parity, efficiency, low cost, and then the ability to return something without, having a major cost. And at the same time, the sustainability and circularity is important to people. So our whole point is, if customers don't think in channels, why should we logistically? So when you think about B2C, B2B, those are service levels. Those shouldn't be channels. And so it's the ability to say, I'm working off of one group of inventory, and by providing inventory being picked by priority. And that's sort of the core ethos of what channel-free logistics is. It's use your existing infrastructure. Don't build another building in the middle of the in the middle of the country. Use your existing infrastructure, but do it collaboratively. When you look at a mall, what's a mall? A mall is an aggregator of retail. I've yet to see a person, when they've been pushed on it, when they say, yeah, I'm a retailer, we're different than every retailer. No, you're not. You sell things called SKUs. You might be doing something a little bit different on the pack out from, a customer experience, which box, which bag, you name it. But for the most part, a SKU is a SKU is a SKU. If you normalize those activities for fulfillment, for returns, for reverse logistics, you name it, you get an inherent efficiency and sustainability piece. And that is the core of what's behind channel-free logistics. And I think we're starting to get to that point where people are like, hey, you know what? Industrial real estate's never been more expensive. Labor's never been more expensive. Technology is unfortunately bad. How do we, as retailers and as brands, look for a better way? Let's get closer to the customer. Let's get closer to the retail stores. Let's use that infrastructure to the highest degree that we possibly can.
Right. And Jenny, in terms of channel-free logistics, it sounds really forward-thinking, right? What have you done with that phrase in helping their company?
Well, from a marketing perspective, it's become our platform for everything. So when we're going to pitch ourselves for speaking engagements, podcasts, developing content, social media, Twitter, hashtags, whatever, right? It just it's fun and unique that they've coined something like that. And they have this unique perspective that we can leverage to communicate evolution within the industry. Because what he's saying is making sense. As a consumer, I don't care where it came from. I just want it. And so it makes sense to speak the same language as your market. Everybody says that. Make sure you're using the same terminology so that everything just aligns, and things have to be clear so that people understand. So I think that's what we've been able to do with FLogic's marketing message.
Very good. And in terms of success with your marketing and sales, Jenny, can you give our audience 2 or 3 key pointers when thinking about their key messaging?
Yeah, so number one, know your audience. Things like your ICPs, that's going to be your ideal client profile, something you can develop internally to better understand who is our market that we're going after, what are their pain points, who are part of the decision-making process, what are they trying to achieve, aligning on that internally, and then validating that externally with buyer personas is going to really help you check that box and make sure that you're communicating to them where they are and how they like to be communicated to. I think next will be consistency. Remember, it takes some obnoxious amount of touches to break through the noise. So what's on your website is in your email, it's in your social, it's in your media, it's everywhere. So like the channel-free logistics, you will see that everywhere for FLogic. And it's hard to break through the noise. So if you talk to your target market with messaging that's going to help them survive, then your message will resonate and they'll act. If you put generic messages out in the market, they're just going to create more noise. So those are my tips.
Great advice. And these days, pretty much everybody goes and checks you out on your social media, on your website. What are you saying? And if they don't get it really quick, it's like they'll just kind of move on. So I think that key messaging is extremely important. And so for those who want to get some more information about your work, can both of you guys please let our audience know the best ways to connect with you? Jenny,
Sure.
go start with you.
So Jenny Malafrina, you can find me on LinkedIn, CEO of Virago Marketing, and you can find us at viragomarketing.com. We've got a lot of great content up there to help you identify upcoming trade shows. What else? Gosh, there's so much. Lead scoring templates, tons of templates that you guys can leverage on your own if that's helpful. So be sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe to our blog if you like some ongoing content for the industry.
Right, absolutely. A little plug for you too. You've got an annual report, right? With
Mm,
research about the market.
yes, thank you.
Gotta talk about that for a second.
Our big annual report. So we just did our second annual report, and we interviewed different companies within the industry, CEOs, marketing leaders, operations, things of those sort. And we asked them, what's keeping you up at night? So what are your pain points? What are your challenges? What are your objectives for 2024? What tactics are you planning to use? Revenue. So, and then we also look at demographic data like revenue bands, and employee size so that you can really benchmark yourself. So you can understand, are we focused on the same things as other companies in our space? Are we spending along the same lines as other companies of our size, whether it's revenue or employees? So there's a lot of great information in there. Thank you for remembering that. I love that piece of content and we use it for everything that we do. It's not as fun and unique as channel free logistics, but it's what we got. It's our
Well,
data.
you want revenue and you want to do it efficiently as you can. That's good stuff to know, right?
Yes.
So absolutely. And likewise with you, Bill, what are some of the best ways to get in touch with you guys?
Sure. I mean, first off, our website, which was helped and supported by Virago Marketing, Fillogic.com, FILLOGIC.com. Just think about logical fulfillment. That's us. You can catch me on LinkedIn. I'm under William Thayer, but everybody calls me Bill. Yeah, we're out and about. You can see us. Once again, everything about our business, it is fully represented in our website. So learn a lot about us, and you can always reach out for us, and our sales team is always willing to have a conversation or talk to Jenny about us as well.
Very good. And this final question is one that I ask all of my guests. So what would you say as a final word of advice for our friends out there listening or watching today, starting with you, Jenny?
All right, so this is an easy one for me. 2024 is all about partnerships. So just coming back from Manifest, there was a lot of partnerships announcements, this post-COVID life, and I hate to even bring up that word in this conversation in 2024 is, helping one another. And then in terms of aligning your brand with other brands, leveraging their reach, cutting costs, it's so smart to develop partnerships. So that's where my focus would be for 2024, because instead of focusing on developing your solution to do things that you don't specialize in, there might be solutions out there that complement what you're doing really well. And it would be best to leverage those.
Absolutely. Going back 29 years in trucking and logistics, basically, partnerships have driven major league revenue growth and new capabilities in the market that people just didn't have before. And it's really cool to see what unfolds when you partner with the right technology partners or supply chain partners or whatever it might be for you. But I totally agree with that. So over to you, Bill. What is your kind of final word of advice for our friends out there listening or watching today?
Yeah, I'll echo the partnership conversation and point, because I think one of the most important pieces is growing a business. For the first couple of years, it was, hey, we will do anything to work with anybody. But when you look at some of the partnerships that we've built over the last few years, people like Narvar, Loop, a lot of our carrier partners, a lot of our retail partners, it's about how do we standardize an infrastructure that everybody can use. And as we continue to build the business, partnership's the key for us. There is no one-off integrations that we will do with folks because we're building an ecosystem that everybody can use. So yes, completely echo the partnership point of view, because that's definitely that's where we want to be.
Right. Absolutely. Seen it work wonders over the years for companies in terms of growth and in terms of opening new capabilities up where people are just like, thank you so much for doing that. So I've seen it happen. And it's awesome. So, well, thanks again for you guys for coming on today, sharing your backgrounds and insights. Really appreciate you coming on.
Yes,
Great.
thanks for having us.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for our show today, everyone. Thanks for listening or watching, and we will see you again soon. Take care.